looking at mirrors now. We're looking at the way the good and the bad flip.
It's a ship flip.
It's a ship flip. So how will we do this? We can do it the hard way or the easy way. Which do you think we should do?
Which one's the hard way? Which one's the easy way?
Well, the hard way is I stand up, go get Girard, and we start reading The Scapegoat, right? And I say, okay, I give you homework. And no, we've been, the team, the Draco team has been listening to a series of René Girard's lectures. It's I think about 20 years ago. And Girard is trying to explain this whole system of insights that he came to over the course of his career as a literary critic, starting it's like I think I'm going backwards fashion or not going in the right fashion. That he starts with problems of the violence and the sacred, and then moves into what he calls things hidden before the beginning of the world. I think not quite. I've lost track of what order they're in. Then the scapegoat, and then I saw Satan fall like lightning. And there's certain concepts that he's trying to explain that he came to, in fact, over the course of decades, right? So it's a very revelatory experience listening to him talk about it. But there's also some concepts that we're starting to see, okay, these are actually helpful. If we're trying to write a myth, we need to know about the structure of mythology. And what he is uncovering is horrifying and comforting simultaneously, because you said I find sort of revelation and knowledge and insight comforting, but you also start learning like what story we're actually in, and whether we can get out of it and how we can get out of it and such. So the hard way is I say we got to go listen to a lot of René Girard, start reading some really intense, literary analytical studies, know about Oedipus and who Cadmus of Thebes is, and dragons and mythological structures, and read the Bible. So that's the hard way.
Yeah, I don't think we should start the hard way.
You think we should give them a little bit of more mosaic intro to how we get how I get to the point where, as I'm reading René Girard's Scapegoat, I can't stop texting the poetry team going, this is it, he's the dragon. And then we say, no, he's not. And then we say, okay, what's going on here? I will take you back in time to 2006 in London, when I saw a series of ads in the subway. We'd just gotten off the plane. We were there for Christmas, and I saw these. We go, good, bad, bad, good. It's broccoli and cake, okay? And I saw this. It's a ad. They're very, very famous ads. It's sort of the phrasing being something like, everything depends on your perspective, or what if you could look at the world with a different eye, or something like that. It was HSBC, which I think is a bank. I don't care. There were these banner ads in the underground and all over London that Christmas that were pointing out the problem of I guess discernment, right? If you're looking at the broccoli cake, broccoli. Okay, it's like, okay, broccoli cake, and then the labels on the images make you have to do this kind of adjustment, right? So good broccoli, bad cake, okay, bad broccoli, good cake. And then you realize actually they're both, right? Obviously broccoli is good for you, cake may or may not be good for you, probably bad, right? Some people really hate broccoli. I always love broccoli, so I don't see how broccoli can be bad. But for some people, it's incredibly bitter and you don't want to eat it all. But cake, always good. And we're in this Ouroboros mirroring of evaluation, which I instantly recognized was the secret to all mythology. Oh no. I'm not sure I did. I mean, there were the interesting thing about the series is I think I did a little research on how they came up with the pairs, that they did a little crowdsourcing. This was back in 2006, which is interesting, asking people to suggest things that they found. It's interesting whether they're opposites or, well, this is the Girardian thing is going to help us here. This will help you make sense of René Girard. Why the pairs work, right? So broccoli and cake, maybe that's a little hard, but the next one, leader, follower, follower, leader. So we have the leader, it's a man in a suit, and he's obviously, they're in the city of London leading people in their financial advisements, right? And the follower is the guy wearing jeans and boots. Actually, you just see his feet. So his follower is just wearing jeans and boots. But, well, isn't that guy in the suit going to work in the corporate offices, in fact, simply following absolutely everybody else into the corporate world? And it's the guy in the jeans and the boots. He's the real leader. No. So which one is which?
Depends on your perspective. That's a point of view problem.
It's a point of view. You get in trouble sometimes
POV.
using POV in your chat world, your channel, and people telling you don't know what POV is.
I know, they yell at me all the time. I don't know why. I make so many people uncomfortable.
Well, what is your point of view? What can be your point of view? Are you leader, follower, follower, leader?
Everything is perspective.
Well, these, we're just going through these quickly. These were the examples I saw in the traditional, trendy, traditional. Yeah, so we have one with a guy with a tribal tattoo saying traditional. These are, I mean, particularly, I suppose Maori.
It's Polynesia.
Yeah, okay. So very, very traditional designs, and to have it is, showing something significant and meaningful in a ancient culture. Trendy is the Mendi, the woman doing the henna stain on her hands. Well, okay, so it's trendy. I was getting Mendi a lot in 2000. Oh, actually, before that, they do it at Renaissance fairs and such, and you get your henna tattoo, which everybody says, if you have it, in fact, as she's done it in the picture on your hands, on the tops of your hands, it wears off really quickly. The traditional way to do it is on your palms, because then the dye sticks around for like a whole week if you take care of it properly. So saying no, women getting the henna done is just a trend. Well, but you could say getting those tribal tattoos was trendy in 2006, and that the reason the women are getting the Mendi is for the traditional reasons of being, particularly for weddings, right? That you have your feet and your hands ornamented. And it's a sort of, have the all just women together having the Mendi done at the party before the bride gets, fully veiled and covered, so that, she's there to meet her husband for the first time, because she wouldn't have met him before, I suppose. Certainly that to have her hands and feet covered there it always felt to me when I got it very sort of special and sacred, even though I wasn't doing it at a wedding. So which is which? I'm not these.
Well, if you're 90s Madonna.
I'm not feeling like these are very difficult for you. It's too easy for you to see both sides here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I live right next door to Polynesia. Half my neighbors have those tattoos, and it's like there's these guys that come out and they've got their full face tattoos, and everyone, screams and worries about it. Because the neighbors to the north, there's a taboo against tattooing in Asia. So you have to be, you're in organized crime if you've got tattoos, especially on your face, except for if you're Polynesian.
And then you're just being traditional and edgy. No, maybe these examples are just too old. Do you think it's? I mean, this was 2006. It was a fair time ago. I mean, there's one that's sort of bland and like holiday hell holiday. And it's whether you're camping or on a cruise. I think it's on a cruise. It's like a cruise ship with people on their sunbeds.
Cruise ships. Before COVID, that would have been See, this would have been harder before COVID. Now I think of cruise ships.
This is true.
PCR testing and national border closures.
I don't think these are spicy enough memes. I think we should go for it. I think we should go for some memes. So we got normal people and conspiracy theorists. Yeah. You've all seen these.
No, that's good.
And now realize, maybe we'll get some traction on this problem, that we've all been living in one of these flip worlds for years now. Mm-hmm. The 2020 world, right? 2020, 2002. Well, what are we in 2023? I don't know. But that those of us who recognized, oh, look, finally the world's coming around to it, that the mask did nothing I read an article this morning that I shared in my channel how the entire panic that happened in northern Italy was specific to certain parts of northern Italy. It had to do with the pollution and the breakdown of their healthcare system, the age of their population, and you know, medical malpractice thanks to the procedures that they were using to ventilate people who had a cold. But this one, the normal people in masks and their plastic face covers, and you know, you can only see sunglasses and no face at all. Those are the normal people. Two years ago, right? And 3 years ago. And the conspiracy theorists are the ones actually simply celebrating Christmas. Getting on with it. That we've been living in this mirror world, like, intensively for the past several years. And I'm wondering now whether it's, you know, sort of, we're kind of exhausted with this. It's watching things flip back and forth and back and forth. I think with the mask thing, I used this in the mask post that I did, but it was like in winter 2020. I think it was, yeah, to mask or not to mask. And I was just like, I can't believe we're living in this. I can't believe we lived in it for so long. I can't believe people are still wearing masks in like ordinary day circumstances. Yeah. I was just at a reception.
I'm still telling people not to wear them.
Well, I was at a reception this evening, the British consulate, or his house, or the downtown high-rise version of the British consulate's home. And they had the staff masked.
The serfdom has its face covered. Sorry, I've got to laugh because that was very common. The help would have its face covered.
Well, they still do. I mean, I don't even think Illinois is under any kind of warning by now, and now we've made this normal. That's astonishing. And of course, you're saying, how did we get to this place where that kind of covering is considered polite? It'd be 5 years ago, it would have been crazy.
A lot of processing, a lot of psychological processing has gone on to get people to the point where they consider that to be normal. The whole culture's been flipped like this so much that the orientation has changed.
And how does that work? The thing is, I'm seeing these twinning pairs reading Girard in a rather different way now, because one of the things that we've been talking about generally for the last several years is how the crowd did that, right? How could the entire population flip from, you know, considering one thing normal to considering a completely different thing normal? How could I mean, I've got up on my Facebook, it's been getting a lot of likes, a picture of Kermit looking out the window in the rain and saying, you know, wondering whether all those people that unfriended me in 2020, 2021, 2022 are going to come back and say they're sorry for the things that they said to us when we were saying, look, guys, no, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
How are you so afraid? How did you get to this point where the mass formation took over?
This like elimination of clear categories happens through this constant flip.
What's historical if you're looking for King Arthur, right? Because King Arthur is basically mythological. But we have, you know, people looking for the historical King Arthur, because even though it's very, very clear in the historical record that he's made up as a character, we still believe it's like this history myth, and you know, my alt history class that I just finished teaching, I was trying to help the students see how often that kind of flip happens, that the things that we want to prove are historically real, we often let's say always, but we want to prove them historically real because they have mythological power for us.